out of your system.
Who was believed to be the first physician? Is there an ancient Egyptian?
History of healthcare. Who likes history? I love it.
I like American history.
Yeah?
The other
I found it.
You did?
Yeah.
She's doing it right now.
You can, you wanna do it now, or you can do it later?
I
Whatever.
can do it now.
Here you go. All right, history of healthcare, ancient times. Xavier, do you wanna teach this since you learned about it today?
No.
No, okay, I'll do this one, you can
I
do
know
it.
like this.
It is very important for every healthcare worker to learn the roots of the healthcare system. Healthcare has existed since primitive times, but medical methods have developed in extraordinary ways since those days. Many medical pioneers have helped to form the healthcare practices that exist today. Primitive times. The years between 4000 BC and 3000 BC are considered the primitive era. During this time, people believed that illness was caused by supernatural beings. It was thought that if people were disobedient, the gods would inflict their bodies with sickness or disease. Priests and medicine men treated illness through religious ceremonies, where evil spirits were thought to be driven out of the body. However, many herbs and plants were used as medicines during primitive times. Opium, derived from the opium poppy, is one such medicine. It was mainly used as a painkiller. Does anyone know what we use opium for today?
Opioids?
Yeah.
What's that?
As painkillers.
As painkiller, what's the most popular?
Opioids. They offered my mom for it some one time.
Does anybody know?
I can't remember what it was.
To reduce pain after surgery.
But what medicine do we use opium for? Anybody?
What medicine?
Morphine. Y'all ever heard of morphine?
Yes.
It is a very powerful painkiller, and it's extracted from opium. Morphine is given to patients to relieve pain after surgery. It's also highly addictive.
That's why my mom did it. That's
Ancient Egyptians and Babylonians. The ancient Egyptians rose to the forefront of medicine around 3000 BC. Although their practices were based on magic and religion, the Egyptians designed structured procedures and kept accurate health records. The Egyptians opposed medical research and experimentation. Physicians were executed if their patients died while undergoing a new procedure. Conservative physicians were praised during this time. A man named Imhotep, did you have him in your history, Xavier? Imhotep. I don't know how else to say it, but okay. He became well known for his medical care of the Egyptian royal family. Imhotep is believed to have been the first physician. By 2000 BC, the Babylonians had set up a medical structure that was similar to that of the Egyptians. They created rules that required fees to be paid to physicians for medical services. Like their Egyptian counterparts, Babylonian physicians were punished severely if patients died or lost their eyesight during treatment. Both the Egyptians and the Babylonians had poor sanitation methods and little regard for personal hygiene. Infection and disease spread quickly among the people. During this time, the average lifespan was only how many years? What do you think? What'd you say?
75.
30. That's right. 30. Is that a guess?
No.
Oh. All right. Ancient Hindus and Chinese. By 1500 BC, the Hindus in India had developed an advanced medical organization. They established hospitals staffed by some of the best nurses in the world. Hindu doctors were trained in many types of surgery, including cataracts and plastic surgery. They also made a significant contribution to the understanding of drugs, particularly those used for anesthesia. What do you think plastic surgery was back then?
They had plastic surgery.
I am thinking of one specific thing. Have you all ever seen something that ancient Chinese used to do that was really, really painful?
Oh, they broke the
foot binding?
feet, right?
Foot binding.
To make them smaller.
Foot binding. Have you all ever seen that?
Oh,
Their
yeah,
feet
right.
will be like crushed up from when they're very small because they're wrapped up, and they'll actually grow from like a foot into like a crooked thing, and they're because they thought it was beautiful, and these women, these children grew into women that could barely walk. It was horrible. In addition, the Hindus created walled sewer drains and a system of underground water pipes. These advances helped to maintain a sanitary environment and slow the spread of disease. The ancient Chinese also developed useful medical practices. The Chinese documented over 1,000 medical herbs and established the science of, what do you think they created that's still used today? Acupuncture. Acupuncture is recognized today as a valid form of alternative treatment. Has anybody ever had acupuncture? It's really relaxing. It's really, a lot of people use it when they're undergoing like cancer treatments for nausea. I did it when I was pregnant to help with everything. And it's funny how it really does hit trigger points and really cool. Ancient Greeks. When the Greeks began to conquer the ancient world, they adopted the medical practices of the countries they overcame. But as the civilization advanced, the Greeks began to question the accepted medical beliefs. In the late 400 BC, Hippocrates began his study of medicine in Greece. Or, what did you say?
Hippocrates.
Hippocrates, yeah. Hippocrates began his study of medicine in Greece. He made one of the greatest contributions to medical history by stressing the importance of observation and note-taking. Hippocrates taught that disease was a result of natural causes, not supernatural punishment. The only way to cure disease, he noted, was to observe the sick. Hippocrates also encouraged cleanliness and proper diet to prevent illness. Hippocrates is known as what? Father of medicine. To this day, physicians are required to abide by the Hippocratic Oath, which is the code of behavior written by Hippocrates thousands of years ago. Aristotle was another great contributor to the growing medical field. Aristotle developed the field of anatomy by dissecting animals. He was the first to make a connection between medicine, biology, and the body. Yep. Are you done? If you want to retake it, you can do that. Ancient Romans. The Greeks made many medical advances, but in 146 BC, Greece was conquered by the Roman Empire. The Romans did not accept the medical practices of the Greeks. The teachings of Hippocrates was forgotten, and medicine returned its focus to supernatural causes and cures. In the mid-100s AD, a Greek physician named Claudius Galen went to Rome and quickly became famous for curing the emperor's stomachache. Galen reintroduced the idea of Hippocrates to the Romans. However, he ignored the practice of careful observation and note-taking. Instead, he taught that the body was composed of 4 fluids. If the fluids became unbalanced, sickness would occur. Galen also developed theories of human anatomy by dissecting pigs. Many of Galen's theories were flawed, and true medical progress was held back for centuries. As a result of Galen's theories, the Romans contributed very little to medical advancement. They did, however, recognize that disease was often caused by filth and overcrowding. They installed superior drainage and sanitation systems and also set up public hospitals. Epidemics and pandemics. What's the difference between an epidemic and a pandemic?
Pandemic's like worldwide, right?
And an epidemic is?
Country.
So, do you think that most pandemics start out as an epidemic?
Probably.
Probably every single one. While the ancient Romans made some great strides towards curbing disease through their drainage systems and hospitals, there was still much to learn and discover about the spread of disease and how to prevent it. They were about to find out in the very worst way. The wide and rapid spread of disease throughout the ancient world was devastating to the societies it affected. Infectious diseases that have widespread impact on a population may be classified as epidemic or pandemic. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, which is CDC, defines an epidemic as a greater number of cases of an infectious disease than normal in a population or area. The spread of the disease is often very fast. The CDC defines a pandemic as an epidemic that spreads to a significantly larger population across several countries or continents. Dark Ages. In 542 AD, the Roman Empire succumbed to the first major pandemic in history. Does anyone know what that would be?
Bubonic plague.
Dang, y'all are smart.
Well, you got the right.
Bubonic, wait, is that like on here? Oh,
It was on the pretest.
oh, good job, Scott. Okay. Learning something from that pretest.
What is that?
The entire known world, stretching from China to Africa and Europe, developed outbreaks of bubonic plague. Bubonic plague is caused by a bacterium transmitted by fleas and rats. Untreatable in ancient Roman times, the plague killed a large proportion of the population. Widespread disease was an important factor in the sacking of Rome by barbarians and the subsequent fall of the Roman Empire. This led to the period known as the Dark Ages, when once again the study of medicine was forbidden. People turned to religion, magic, and folklore to cure disease. The end of an era. Many medical discoveries were made during the ancient time period. However, the era ended just as it began. Most people who lived in the ancient world believed that sickness was directly linked to supernatural beings. They believed that sickness could only be cured through obedience, prayer, and religious rites. That is it.
Are we gonna do this together since we only have like 3 minutes?
Sorry?
Are we gonna do this together since we only have like 3 minutes?
We are gonna do it Friday. We're done for today.
Oh, my screen is frozen.
You can start your thing if you want.